The dopamine hypothesis as part of the biological explanation of schizophrenia. So there's two versions of the dopamine hypothesis. There's a hyperdopaminergia in the subcortex and the hypodopaminergia in the cortex. So the hyperdopaminergia in the subcortex is the original version of the dopamine hypothesis. It states that there are high levels of dopamine activity in central areas of the brain, i.e. excess levels of dopamine in Broca's area, which is responsible for speech, can explain poverty of speech. And then hypodopaminergia in the cortex is a revised version and states that there are low levels of dopamine activity in the brain's cortex. Low levels of dopamine in the prefrontal cortex, which are areas involved in thinking and decision making, can explain negative symptoms. Evidence from treatment. Evidence to support the dopamine hypothesis comes from the success of drug treatments that attempt to change levels of dopamine activity in the brain. The basic mechanism of antipsychotic drugs is to reduce the effects of dopamine and to reduce the symptoms of schizophrenia. For example, Lucht et al. Carried out a meta-analysis of 212 studies that had analysed the effectiveness of different antipsychotic drugs compared to a placebo. They found that all the drugs tested were significantly more effective than a placebo in the treatment of positive and negative symptoms. The findings of this study show that the normalization of dopamine positively affects schizophrenia symptoms and shows that dopamine plays a key role in schizophrenic symptoms, and this increases the support and appropriateness of the dopamine hypothesis in explaining schizophrenia.